or the need for the documents. That's the first. The second issue relates to Advocate Johnson's third statement. By we, I mean Advocate Bojani and I have discussed the matter, and the issue is the witness, after the witness has finished dealing with that statement, we will briefly address you as to the position we assume as evidence leaders in regard to the issues that she wants to invoke, the right not to self-incriminate and how she approaches it, and Advocate Bodlani will have a say on the matter. So it's really more about how the issue is dealt with during the course of her evidence than a refusal to testify at all. But it makes sense, I think it only makes sense if we address it after she has spoken to her third statement, otherwise things become a bit confusing. What we propose to do is to complete her first statement, deal with the second, then the third, and then we address the self-incrimination issue. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Sil.
Thank you, Chair. Advocate Johnson, I trust you followed my engagement with the commissioners regarding the treatment of your third statement.
I have.
Thank you. So what I propose we do, we continue with your first statement, we take it to the end, and then quickly deal with your second statement and the third statement, and thereafter then we'll discuss the matter of self-incrimination. Just before we broke for tea, you had just completed your paragraph 30, having dealt with the subs, 30.1 and 30.2. Before we go to your paragraph 31, at paragraph 30 you say, once the investigation was concluded, you were briefed, and IDAC applied for the warrant of arrest against all the accused. You say, I then prepared a prosecution memorandum and submitted same to the Director of Public Prosecutions. Now, at the time, a request was not made of you to provide such a memorandum because the assumption was that it would be found in the relevant docket. Having received the docket and engaged the investigator, Colonel Padiachi, on the contents thereof, that is one document that is not in the docket. My request to you, are you able to provide the Commission with that prosecution memorandum you referenced at paragraph 30? And I doubt, do you require the Commission to issue a subpoena to obtain same? Thank you.
Commissioners, I will ask Advocate Maga, as he is dealing with the other aspects of these documents are with the prosecutors in the matter, and to kindly ask for the prosecution memo that is submitted to the office of the DPP prior to enrollment, yes, which is what is referred to in terms of Section 24, subsection 2 of the NPA Act.
Thank you so much. And I do know that it was prepared by you. You say I then prepared. So it shouldn't be difficult to locate, I believe. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Advocate Selo, it may be that it's two documents. Maybe that letter on 2438 may help us, because then she should provide that entire bundle.
I agree, Commissioner Khumalo. Advocate Johnson, did you hear the point that Commissioner Khumalo makes? There is a letter in the files regarding proceeding with the prosecution, and it is a letter from the prosecutor confirming what was submitted to the prosecutor and the position assumed by IDAC in respect of this intended prosecution. Commissioner Khumalo suggests that much as you reference a specific document in paragraph 30, it could potentially be a series of documents that speak to the issue. And to the extent that that is the case, to please provide all the documents and not only confine yourself to the specific document referenced in paragraph 30. So it may be 1, 2, or 5 documents, and basically the request is to provide all.
Advocate Johnson, it's correspondence dated 25 June 2025, and the Acting Director of Public Prosecutions references your correspondence dated 24 June 2025. And then annexed to that was the consultation note, and I guess the memorandum, or maybe it's the same thing, consultation note and the memorandum. And then he says, having considered the contents of all this documentation, so I'm assuming it's not just one document, then says, I'm satisfied that a prima facie case concur with your decision, and I'm assuming there would be a decision of yours recorded in some document. So it would be those documents, because that would complete that paragraph 30 of your statement. Can you just make a note in your file? It will be in file 6 on page 2438.
Thank you, Commissioner Khumalo. Advocate Johnson has duly made a note of that.
I have made a note, and there's
Thank
no
you.
objection to them being provided. They actually do just form, they're not a different set, they form a set. It's writing a letter to the DPP saying this is what I attach, this is the purpose, and then you send that through, and then you get this response, Commissioner Khumalo, that you referred to.
Thank you. We may then, I think, now go on to your paragraph 31 at page 10, and you can take your statement from there.
Thank you, Commissioners. Paragraph 31. When I joined the Investigating Directorate, ID, predecessor to the IDAC, there were already several complex fraud and corruption matters in place. These matters implicated very senior members of SAPS in alleged criminality. This was especially so in the supply chain management unit of the SAPS. Some of these matters were enrolled in various courts. 32. The accused in those matters included, amongst others, then Acting National Police Commissioner General Patlane, General Ngwenya, who was our first black female Deputy National Police Commissioner in the SAPS, and also at the time, the wife of Ltn General Shadrack Sibia, General Nematunzela, who was the head of analysis at Crime Intelligence, and various other very senior SAPS officials.
Before you proceed, I think for my understanding, when you submitted this statement, you were responding to specific Rule 3 issued by the Commission. Of what relevance is the contents of paragraph 32 to that Rule 3? You don't say anything about that beyond this point, so just to check what point you were seeking to put across.
So it is to indicate that IDAC had other matters that it was investigating against senior members of the South African Police, which matters I found were already within that space when I arrived, and that those matters related to the supply chain management issues, and that the officials mentioned in 32 are of the officials that were charged in the various courts on these matters.
And just to be clear, are the facts arising from any of those matters or investigations conducted in those matters, do they have any impact on what you have been dealing with, which is the arrest of General Khumalo in the current matter?
No, it was just merely to indicate that there were other matters of also senior police officials within the SAPS environment.
Understood. Thank you. We may then go to your paragraph E.
Paragraph E, other issues raised by Mkhwanazi. 33. Mkhwanazi also testified, that is General Mkhwanazi, also testified IDAC sought to get involved in matters involving syndicates in Gauteng. He is incorrect on the submission. 34, he alleges that he doesn't understand why IDAC was getting involved in the matters of Molefe and Matlala, as this was dealt with by the PKTT and Gauteng organized crime. 35. IDAC is not involved in any investigation relating to Molefe. With regards Vusimose, in inverted commas, Cat Matlala, Matlala in brackets, IDAC's only interest arose out of a Section 27 referral from SAPS with regards the unlawful awarding of a tender to his company, Medicare 24, and allegations of collusion and corruption with Matlala and some SAPS officials. IDAC did get cyber search warrants for the cell phones and electronic devices of Matlala. These were presented to IDAC by a Ltn General Khumalo. The data was downloaded in his presence and he left with the devices. The information is sought in relation to the tender matter.
Before we leave paragraph 35, insofar as Mr. Matlala's case is concerned, do I understand you correctly that that was triggered by a different Section 27 referral received from SAPS? It's not the Section 27 referral that we've been discussing received from Mr. Adams.
That is correct.
This is a different one.
It is a Section 27 referral entirely based only on allegations against Matlala, irregular awarding of a contract, Medicare 24. And it is from someone completely different and does not relate to the ones we've been discussing, or the one we've been discussing about Mr. Adams.
On the basis of what we discussed regarding paragraph 32, where you introduce other cases, General Pashani and them, for the sake of completeness, are you able to provide the Commission with that particular Section 27 referral? So we too can have the benefit of a full picture of the matters that IDAC is dealing with insofar as SAPS is concerned. May I add that Section 27 affidavit to the list of documents that IDAC will be providing to the Commission, hopefully by tomorrow morning?
Not for not wanting to help the Commission. I will just ask for a quick engagement once we're done with these affidavits, just with my counsel, in terms of this matter, which is in court at the moment, and for which I think, though, if you deal with it, Advocate Selo.
Yes, ma'am.
On the basis of how you've dealt with the other 27 and the status of where that case is vis-a-vis where the Khumalo matter is, then we would have to disclose the Section 27. I think the logic follows. I just hope I'm making logical sense that on the basis of the one, I'm trying to find where the preclusion would be given the status of where these two matters currently lie.
May I suggest this? That there are two issues you are raising. One is availing a document to the Commission, and the second is the treatment of that document by the Commission in open hearing. Those are two distinct issues. I'm still on the first. So I'm not sure I understand why you would want to confer with your counsel about providing the Section 27 referral you reference here. Would that potentially be a challenge?
It's
and
not.
If so, what would be the challenge?
It's not the providing.
And I distinguished that from how then, after receipt, the Commission engages with that particular document.
Correct.
Yes.
It is just to engage on how the Commission would deal with the document.
But the document shall be provided. Is that where we'll end?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I think your second request is reasonable. You can confer with your counsel, and to the extent that it is necessary, he and I will engage on such matters. By the time we appear before the commissioners on that particular document, we will have hopefully a common position.
Noted.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Paragraph 36. The point to all of this is that there is nothing new with sound allegations of malfeasance, fraud, and corruption implicating the top brass in the SAPS. Not only has it happened in the past, when some of those cases were presented to the courts, we secured convictions. The conclusion.
Before you reach your conclusion, you say, we secured convictions. I read that to be we, IDAC.
IDAC, and then also in terms of myself at a time when I was still prosecuting, if we took the Celebi matter, we also had another matter where the CFO of Crime Intelligence, Major General Solly Lazarus, had been charged and prosecuted. I was one of the prosecutors on that matter, but halfway through, I was gone to a different office, yes. But he was also convicted. And then there are IDAC matters
so,
that we'd have to refer to.
I understand the distinction you draw. Which are the IDAC matters where you have secured convictions, specifically IDAC? Are you able to recall them off the top of your head?
No, when I talk about we secured convictions, I'm not talking about the IDAC per se.
Okay.
It is the matters in which I myself was involved as part of a team.
So
relating to the top brass. The ones in IDAC currently are matters that are either part-head or matters set down for trial.
So
they're not finalized yet.
So we shouldn't read the we in paragraph 36
to mean
as
IDAC.
Inclusive of IDAC. It's
That
exclusive of IDAC. Thank you. You may then go to your paragraph 37.
Paragraph 37. I cannot end this affidavit without pointing out the adverse effects that I personally have had to endure since the arrest immediately just before the arrest of Ltn General Khumalo and co-accused was effected before 26 June 2025.
May I suggest, I think
we have a correction.
Yes.
There's a typo. Have had to endure since the arrest.
I think it's all since.
Had to endure since the arrest of. Have had to endure since the arrest of.
Since the arrest or since immediately just before the arrest.
Yes.
So it makes sense to me when I replace the of with all.
Yes.
I think that was what was intended.
Correct.
Thank you.
Was affected before 26 June. I received a death threat directly on my cell phone. It read, Mrs. IDAC, you and your guy Shabalala, Perumal, Padiachi, and Belochin have went too far. You're going to wish you did not. I think everyone that has the document can read that word.
Yes.
With us, get body bags ready. Close quote. 38. In my long career as a prosecutor, this is the first time that I received a death threat. The NPA has put several measures in place to secure myself and other colleagues.
Before you move from that topic, this sounds like a serious threat. Did you, or by you I mean IDAC, did you cause for the matter to be investigated to get to the bottom of this threat? I do appreciate that measures have been put in place to secure your safety and the safety of your colleagues, but I'm more interested in investigating the matter and finding the source of the threat. Were such steps taken? Are you aware?
The matter was escalated to the Risk and Security Division of the NPA. They did follow up on that message. It was one of those phones that didn't have a registered SIM card, so it sent a message and you couldn't then go ahead and trace the user of the telephone.
The so-called burner phones.
That is correct, Commissioner. I am aware, however, Commissioners, that later on, they were able to determine where a group from whom it might have come. And I'm prepared to rather write that down, because it might be a person who's also a subject at the Commission. Also what I did not put in the affidavit is, at the time, it didn't seem related, but what had happened is someone accosted my daughter and I at our gate. And we had lived there for almost 20 years, and this had happened for the first time 4 days before. And I think the only reason it alarmed me was when the person walked up to the gate, he spoke to me immediately in Zulu. I mean, I'm not sure on the basis of what, except for you would have had to know who I am. And the words that followed sort of just gave it away. And when I got this message later in the week, it did make sense. Because when the person approached the gate, I asked my daughter to stand back. And from where I was, I said in English, "Can I help?" And the person replied in Zulu, "Ngidinga umeli, ukhona umeli kule strat." And I replied in English, "I'm so sorry, I don't know what you are saying." And then he said in English, "I want a lawyer." And it's a fully residential area, but the way he was dressed, he walked off and he went down the road, stood on the corner of the road, and then you could see him making a call. And so we decided to just wait to be safe till he left. So, and then this came after, but that was the sequence of those events, yes.
So where we land is, the matter at least is still under investigation.
Simply
you haven't given up on the threat somehow?
We haven't, but
Okay.
the measures had been put in place to take care of me and my family, my colleagues, that were mentioned in these. One is your guy Chabalala is a prosecutor, Perumal Padiache and Belochan are investigators.
Okay. Thank you. That then leads us to your paragraphs 39 to 42.
To date, there have been other incidents that have affirmed the validity of these threats, more especially to me. It has affected my entire household, paragraph 40. 41, I'm hoping that this affidavit and the attachments to it, which I give to the Commission, will provide better insight into the workings of IDAC, the commitment of its people, and the fact that we are process-driven and consistent in our approach on all matters. 42, should I be required to answer questions flowing from this affidavit and other matters in respect of which it has been determined that I would be of assistance to the Commission, subject to timeous notice and the right to legal representation, I would be willing to make myself available for such.
Before we leave this statement, two things, starting with that very paragraph you've just read into the record, where you state, should you be required to answer questions flowing from this affidavit and other matters in respect of which it has been determined that I would be of assistance to the Commission, subject to timeous notice and the right of legal representation, I would be willing to make myself available for such. My first question, you appear here today with legal representation, don't you?
Correct.
You have been provided with notice. It might be debatable whether timeous or not, but notice has been provided to you. Different notices have been provided to you regarding matters flowing from your statement.
That's correct.
Are you then willing, as of today, to provide answers to these questions? Are we at the point where you are now willing to provide answers? You're not going to require of us to expect you to come back at a later date to deal with other questions?
Commissioners, I would like to deal with whatever I can whilst I am here.
Okay. Similarly, at your paragraph 26, page 9. There you state, as I indicated somewhere towards the end of this affidavit, I intend to apply for leave to testify before this commission. If leave is so granted, I will get an opportunity to expand on the issues to which reference is made above.